The spotlight burned like a accusing eye, pinning Eleanor Hayes to the wooden stage as the first boos erupted from the shadowed rows. At 92, her voice had cracked midway through the choir's opening hymn, a fragile thread snapping under the weight of years, and now the crowd's disdain crashed over her like a wave. But in that moment of humiliation, Eleanor's eyes locked on a distant memory, and she straightened her spine, refusing to shatter. Eleanor had always been a fighter, born in the dusty plains of Oklahoma during the Great Depression, where survival meant scraping joy from the barren earth. Music had been her sanctuary, a gift from her mother who hummed gospel tunes while mending clothes by candlelight. As a young girl, Eleanor joined the local church choir, her soprano soaring like a bird freed from a cage, carrying her through wars, losses, and the quiet erosions of time. Now, in this grand auditorium in New York City, part of a community choir for seniors, she faced an audience that expected perfection, not the raw authenticity of a life well lived. The boos grew louder, a cacophony that drowned out the conductor's frantic gestures. Fellow choir members shifted uncomfortably, their harmonies faltering as whispers turned to jeers. "Get off the stage, old lady," someone shouted from the back, and Eleanor's cheeks flushed with a heat she hadn't felt since her husband's funeral decades ago. Yet, deep within, a spark ignited, the same one that had pushed her to raise 3 children alone after the war, to march for civil rights in the 60s, to rebuild her life after losing her home to a fire. She wasn't just singing notes, she was singing her soul. As the first song sputtered to an end, the conductor, a young man named Marcus with kind eyes hidden behind thick glasses, leaned in. "Eleanor, maybe sit this one out," he murmured, but she shook her head, her gnarled hands clutching the microphone stand like a lifeline. The audience's restlessness buzzed like angry bees, but Eleanor closed her eyes, drawing breath from the depths of her being. The next song was Amazing Grace, a staple, but tonight, it would be different, infused with the pain and triumph of her 92 years. The piano's opening chords rippled through the hall, and Eleanor began alone, her voice trembling at first, then steadying into a rich, weathered timbre that spoke of storms weathered and dawns embraced. The boos faded into uneasy silence as her words painted pictures. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound, that saved a wretch like me. Each lyric carried the weight of her husband's death in Vietnam, the joy of her grandchildren's laughter, the loneliness of empty rooms in her twilight years. Murmurs shifted to sniffles as Eleanor's solo unfolded. A woman in the front row, tears streaming, clutched her program, perhaps reminded of her own aging mother. But Eleanor didn't see them. She was lost in the melody, her body swaying gently, as if dancing with ghosts of the past. The choir joined in tentatively, their voices blending with hers, but it was Eleanor's lead that commanded the space. Midway through, she paused, not from weakness, but intention. "This song," she said softly into the mic, her voice amplified and resolute, "is for all who've been broken and mended." The audience leaned forward, hooked now, the earlier cruelty forgotten in the raw vulnerability before them. As the verse crested, Eleanor's pitch rose, imperfect but profound, evoking the resilience of the human spirit. A man in the balcony wiped his eyes, thinking of his estranged father. The energy shifted palpably from mockery to empathy, from judgment to connection. But the true twist came when a young girl, no more than 12, slipped from the wings onto the stage. Unbeknownst to most, this was Lily, Eleanor's great-granddaughter, who had been hiding backstage after a family argument. Lily had run away from home that morning, angry at the world, but hearing her great-grandmother's voice crack under fire drew her out. With wide eyes, she approached Eleanor, taking her hand. The audience gasped as Lily joined in, her pure, childlike soprano weaving with Eleanor's aged one. "I once was lost, but now am found." They sang together, the generational bridge mending invisible fractures. Lily's presence was the unexpected spark, turning a solo redemption into a family tapestry, emphasizing how legacy flows through blood and forgiveness. Tears flowed freely now, the hall a sea of emotion. Eleanor's story, embodied in song, reminded everyone of their own vulnerabilities, the elderly dismissed, the young misunderstood, the bonds that heal. The song built to its climax, Eleanor's voice cracking once more, but this time with purposeful emotion, not frailty. The final "How precious did that grace appear" hung in the air, and as the last note faded, silence reigned profound, pregnant with reflection. Then, applause erupted, not polite, but thunderous, laced with sobs. People stood, clapping through their tears, as Eleanor and Lily embraced on stage. Marcus, the conductor, beamed with pride, knowing this moment transcended music. In the aftermath, Eleanor stepped forward, her 92-year-old frame radiating quiet strength. "Age doesn't dim the heart," she said, her words simple yet piercing. The audience, transformed, carried that truth home, pondering their own lives' unsung melodies. But the night wasn't over. Whispers of encore filled the air, and Eleanor, with Lily by her side, prepared for one more song, an original composition from her youth, about love lost and found. As the lights dimmed slightly, Eleanor reflected on her journey. From the Oklahoma Dust Bowls to this New York stage, every hardship had forged her voice. The boos, they were just echoes of doubt she'd long conquered. Lily squeezed her hand, whispering, "I'm sorry, Nana. I didn't know." Eleanor smiled, tears in her eyes. "We all get lost sometimes, darling. That's why we sing to find our way back." The encore began, a haunting ballad titled "Whispers of the Wind," written during the war for her husband. The lyrics spoke of longing, resilience, and the enduring power of memory. As Eleanor's voice filled the hall once more, accompanied by the choir and Lily's harmony, the audience was spellbound. A twist emerged here too. Among the crowd was an old flame from Eleanor's youth, Thomas, now 95, who had come anonymously after reading about the concert in the paper. He sat in the shadows, his heart aching with regret for the paths not taken. As the song progressed, he rose slowly, making his way to the aisle. The music swelled, and Thomas's presence added an unspoken layer, the what-ifs of life. The roads diverged. Eleanor spotted him midway, her voice faltering for a split second before surging stronger, infused with decades of unspoken emotion. The song's bridge hit. "Whispers of the wind carry me home, through the storms and the calm, I'm never alone." Sobs echoed as personal stories mirrored in the lyrics: lost loves, faded dreams, second chances. By the end, Thomas reached the stage steps, and in a moment of pure serendipity, Eleanor extended her hand. He climbed up, joining the embrace with Lily, the 3 generations plus one old soul, creating a tableau of redemption. The applause was deafening, but more than that, it was healing. Strangers hugged, families reconciled in their seats, all touched by the humanity on display. As the curtain fell, Eleanor whispered to Thomas, "It's been a long time." He nodded, eyes misty. "Too long. But grace finds us." Backstage, the choir buzzed with excitement. Marcus pulled Eleanor aside. "That was legendary. You turned boos into blessings." She chuckled softly. "Life's full of surprises, dear. Just keep singing." Lily, wide-eyed, asked, "Will you teach me more songs, Nana?" Eleanor nodded, her heart full. This night had not only redeemed her, but reignited bonds she thought frayed. The story of that evening spread like wildfire, newspapers dubbing it "The Night Grace Prevailed." But for Eleanor, it was simply another chapter in a life rich with melody and meaning. Yet, as she lay in bed that night, memories flooded back, hinting at deeper secrets. What the audience didn't know was that "Whispers of the Wind" held a hidden truth, a letter from her husband, discovered years later, revealing a wartime secret that had shaped her solitude. The morning after the concert dawned crisp and clear, sunlight filtering through the lace curtains of Eleanor's modest apartment in Brooklyn. She sat at her kitchen table, a cup of tea steaming in her hands, replaying the night's events. The boos still echoed faintly, but they were overshadowed by the sobs, the applause, the unexpected reunion with Thomas. Thomas, after 70 years, his face had appeared like a ghost from her past. They had been sweethearts in high school, parted by the war and life's cruel twists. He had enlisted, she had waited, but letters stopped, and assumptions filled the void. Now, at 95, he was a widower, living quietly in Queens, drawn to the concert by a whim or fate. A knock at the door pulled her from reverie. It was Lily, backpack slung over her shoulder, eyes bright with excitement. "Nana, can I stay with you today?" Mom said it's okay. Eleanor smiled, pulling her into a hug. The runaway episode forgotten, replaced by newfound admiration. They spent the morning baking cookies, Eleanor's arthritic fingers guiding Lily's young ones. As flour dusted the air, stories flowed of Eleanor's childhood, the Dust Bowl's relentless grip, how singing in the fields kept hope alive. Lily listened, rapt, her phone forgotten. But midday brought another visitor. Thomas, bearing a bouquet of daisies, her favorite from youth. "Eleanor," he said, voice gravelly with age, "I couldn't stay away." They sat on the porch, Lily playing nearby, as decades unraveled. Thomas revealed his side. Captured in the war, presumed dead, he returned to find Eleanor married. He had built a life elsewhere, but never forgot her. "That song last night. It was ours," he whispered. Indeed, Whispers of the Wind was born from their letters, a melody she composed in longing. Eleanor's heart ached with what-ifs, but also gratitude. "We lived full lives, Thomas. That's the grace in it." Lily, overhearing, chimed in, like in the song. The twist of their reunion deepened the night's impact, showing how past threads weave into present tapestries. News of the concert went viral, clips of Eleanor's performance shared across social media. Comments poured in, inspiring. "Made me call my grandma." But not all were kind. Some trolls mocked her age, reigniting the booze in digital form. Eleanor, unfamiliar with the internet, learned from Lily, who defended her fiercely online. That afternoon, Marcus called. "Eleanor, the choir wants an encore performance. And a record label is interested." She laughed, disbelieving. At 92, fame? But the idea sparked something, a chance to share her story wider, to advocate for the elderly often sidelined. As evening fell, they attended a small gathering at the community center. Choir members greeted her like a hero, sharing how her courage inspired them. One woman, in her 70s, confessed, "I almost quit after my husband died. You showed me to keep singing." Thomas joined, his presence a quiet support. Lily performed a short solo, her voice echoing Eleanor's influence. The group sang together, harmonies healing wounds unseen. But a subtle twist emerged. During the sing-along, a stranger approached a journalist named Sarah, who revealed she was Eleanor's long-lost granddaughter from a brief, hidden chapter in her son's life. Sarah had tracked her down via the viral video, seeking connection. Tears flowed as introductions were made. Sarah, adopted as a baby, had always felt a pull toward music. "Your voice. It's in my blood," she said. Eleanor embraced her, the family circle expanding unexpectedly, emphasizing themes of discovery and belonging. The evening ended with Eleanor leading Amazing Grace again, now with Thomas, Lily, and Sarah joining. The small room swelled with emotion, sobs mingling with song. Back home, Eleanor journaled, reflecting on resilience. Age brought frailty, but also wisdom, the ability to turn pain into purpose. The booze. They were catalysts for this cascade of connections. Thomas stayed late, sharing old photos. Lily fell asleep on the couch, Sarah promising to visit soon. As midnight approached, Eleanor hummed softly, her voice a beacon in the quiet night. The next day brought interviews. A local TV station featured her, dubbing the story from booze to blessings. Eleanor spoke eloquently. "At my age, every note counts. Don't silence the elders, their songs hold history." Social media buzz grew, with celebrities retweeting. But Eleanor remained grounded, focusing on family. She taught Lily piano, shared recipes with Sarah, walked with Thomas in the park. A week later, the choir rehearsed for the encore concert. Nerves fluttered, but Eleanor's presence steadied them. "Remember," she said, "sing from the heart, not for applause." The twist deepened when Thomas confessed a secret. He had composed the music for Whispers of the Wind secretly, sending it anonymously years ago. Eleanor gasped, the revelation adding layers to their bond. As the concert neared, anticipation built. Tickets sold out, the audience diverse, young and old, seeking inspiration. On the day, Eleanor prepared, her robe pressed, voice warmed. Lily, Sarah, and Thomas backstage, a support system forged from surprise. The stage lights rose, and the choir began. No booze this time, cheers greeted them. Eleanor's solo in Amazing Grace evoked the same magic, sobs starting early. Then, the encore, Whispers of the Wind, now a duet with Thomas. Their voices blended, decades dissolving in melody. The audience, moved, stood in ovation. Sarah and Lily joined for the finale, a family chorus symbolizing unity. The night ended in triumph, but Eleanor's journey hinted at more, perhaps a memoir, or travels with her newfound kin. As they left the stage, Eleanor whispered, "Grace isn't just amazing, it's endless." Weeks blurred into months, the viral fame transforming Eleanor's quiet life into a whirlwind of opportunities. Invitations poured in, talk shows, senior centers, even a TEDx event. At 92, she became an unlikely icon, her story a testament to defying ageism. But beneath the glow, doubts crept in. Was this her swan song, or a new verse? Family anchored her. Lily moved in temporarily, her parents agreeing it strengthened bonds. Sarah visited often, sharing DNA test results confirming their tie. Thomas became a constant, their rekindled friendship blooming into gentle companionship. One crisp fall day, they picnicked in Central Park. Laughter echoed as Lily chased leaves. Sarah snapped photos. Thomas regaled tales of yesteryear. Eleanor watched, heart swelling with gratitude. This is the real encore, she mused. But a health scare loomed. A doctor's visit revealed a heart murmur, nothing dire, but a reminder of mortality. Take it easy, the physician advised. Eleanor nodded, but her spirit rebelled. I've never taken it easy, she told Thomas later. The twist arrived unexpectedly. During a routine choir practice, a young prodigy named Jamal, 16 and homeless, auditioned. His voice, raw and powerful, reminded Eleanor of her youth. But he carried burdens: foster care escapes, street survival. Marcus hesitated, but Eleanor advocated. Give him a chance. Music saved me. It can save him. Jamal joined, his tenor adding depth. Practices became mentorship sessions, Eleanor sharing life lessons. Booze don't define you, she said. Jamal opened up about his dreams, fears. The intergenerational dynamic shifted perspectives, highlighting how elders guide the young, and vice versa. As winter approached, the choir prepared for a holiday concert. Themes of hope resonated deeply. Eleanor composed a new song, Echoes of Grace, weaving her story with Jamal's, Lily's, Sarah's. Rehearsals intensified. Jamal's presence injected energy, but challenges arose. He missed sessions due to shelter issues. Eleanor intervened, offering her spare room. Family isn't just blood, she declared. Thomas helped too, driving Jamal to practices. Sarah researched aid programs. Lily befriended him, sharing school stories. The group coalesced into a surrogate family, emphasizing community over isolation. The concert night arrived, snow blanketing the city. The auditorium packed, anticipation electric. The opening medley flowed smoothly, but during Eleanor's solo, her voice wavered, the heart murmur acting up. Booze. None. Instead, encouragement whispers. She pushed through, but midway she faltered. In a poignant twist, Jamal stepped forward, seamlessly taking the lead, his voice supporting hers like a crutch. The audience, sensing the vulnerability, held breath. Eleanor recovered, their duet becoming the highlight, youth and age harmonizing, symbolizing passing the torch. Sobs came, not from pity, but admiration. Echoes of Grace debuted next, lyrics poignant. From the ashes of doubt, we rise in song. Echoes of Grace carry us along. Jamal's verse shared his struggles, Eleanor's her triumphs. The blend moved all, tears flowing as personal echoes resonated. Post-performance, accolades flooded. A producer offered recording deals. But Eleanor focused on impact. Donations poured for homeless youth, inspired by Jamal's story. Backstage, Jamal hugged her. You saved me, Miss Hayes. She smiled. We save each other. The holidays brought joy. A family dinner with all Thomas carving turkey, Sarah on desserts, Lily and Jamal decorating. Eleanor led carols, voices uniting. But reflection deepened. Eleanor pondered her legacy, not fame, but connections forged. At 92, she learned anew. Life twists, but grace straightens paths. Spring bloomed with tours. The choir traveled, spreading messages of resilience. In Chicago, a fan shared how Eleanor's story mended her family rift. Challenges persisted. Thomas's arthritis flared, Jamal faced school pressures, but support prevailed. A major twist. During a Boston show, Eleanor's estranged son, Lily's grandfather, appeared. Absent for years due to old grudges, the viral story drew him back. "Mom, I'm sorry," he said, tears in eyes. Reconciliation unfolded on stage, him joining the finale. The audience, unaware of depths, sobbed at the raw emotion. This mending completed circles from booze to family wholeness. As summer neared, Eleanor planned a memoir, dictating to Sarah. "Title it Songs Unsung," she said. Life's rhythm continued, each day a note in her symphony. The memoir's release marked a pinnacle, Songs Unsung, hitting shelves to critical acclaim. At signings, fans lined up, sharing how Eleanor's tale inspired them to pursue passions delayed by life. "You're proof it's never too late," one said. She nodded, humbled. Family thrived. Jamal excelled in school, scholarship-bound. Lily composed her first song. Sarah published articles on elder advocacy. Thomas proposed a quiet commitment, companions till the end. Eleanor accepted, their bond a late-life bloom. But health declined subtly. Mornings brought fatigue, evenings reflection. "I've sung my share," she told Thomas. A grand concert celebrated the book's launch, the choir augmented by guest celebrities moved by her story. The hall, largest yet, buzzed. Opening with Amazing Grace, Eleanor's voice, though weaker, carried power. No booze, only reverence. Mid-show, twists abounded. Jamal premiered his composition, dedicating to Eleanor. Then, her son led a family medley, healing on display. The climax, Whispers of the Wind, with all joining generations blending in harmony. Sobs racked the crowd, emotions cresting. Encore demands led to Echoes of Grace, Eleanor's final lead. As notes faded, she addressed the audience. "Remember, every voice matters. Sing through the booze, grace awaits." Standing ovation lasted minutes. Tears a tribute. Post-concert, Eleanor retired from performing, focusing on mentoring. She established a foundation for senior artists, ensuring legacies endure. Days filled with simple joys, park walks with Thomas, baking with Lily, jamming with Jamal, dinners with Sarah and son. At 93, she reflected on the journey from Dust Bowl to stardom, booze to blessings. The human value. Resilience binds us, music heals divides. One evening, gathered around the piano, they sang softly. Eleanor's voice, faint but fervent, led. In that moment, all was complete. Yet, life hinted at more melodies unspoken.